Hey, this is Dave from the Centurion's Review. Everyone else has done a review at DeathMaze on YouTube or some kind of walkthrough, talk-through or something, so it was all good information they put up, so I'm not going to add to it. I mean, the information they put is quite good, so feel free to watch all those videos from everyone else. This is going to be about the expansion for DeathMaze, which came in Moves Magazine number 51. You can buy a copy of this old magazine for like $5 on eBay, plus like $3 or $4 to ship, so it's not that expensive. One of the main things it has is it has new character classes. Let me zoom in here. The new character classes, there's 3 of them, and they're all types of priests. The first one is the Witch Hunter. He begins the game with 7 hit points and a magic resistance of 2, and he's totally immune to the charm ability of vampires. He can use any weapon he wants, but however, he has one fatal flaw. Any negotiation that's done with vampires, skeletons, mummies, or vampire bats automatically fails, so that's something to keep in mind. The second one is a healer. Every party needs healers. They begin the game with 4 wound points and a magic resistance of 1, and their sole purpose is to heal, so their spell list consists totally of stuff related to healing. We'll go through the spell list in a little bit. Peacemaker is my favorite one. This begins the game with 6 hit points and a magic resistance of 1. They're non-violent, so they never carry weapons, never stab anyone, never shoot bows, never throw rocks or anything. Their main purpose is negotiations. They add +4 to all negotiations, and they have several spells that are negotiation type spells. They also have sleep too, if I recall correctly, which is a good spell. When facing monsters over 15 wound points, they can apply a +4 or a -4 to the bribery table. Let's go over the spell types for the different priests. Witch Hunters have protection from undead, which is obvious. Light Ray does d6 +2 wounds to anything that doesn't resist. Righteous Fury gives a +1 to hit in combat and a +3 against undead. Redeem Traitor gives you back one of your characters who have been charmed. Let's flip this over to the other page here. Dispel Undead, well, that's obvious. And Wrath of God. Wrath of God does 2d6 +2 wounds to each creature. I wonder if the Magic the Gathering card got its name from that. The Healer also has spells. The first one is Heal, which heals 1d6 wounds. Dispel Potion, that's obvious. Premonition allows you to see a trap. Heavy Heal does a lot of healing. And Magic Shield, person who casts that is immune to all spells that cause damage. That's a good spell. And then there's Resurrection, which brings a character back from the dead. The Peacemaker has some spells. My favorite one is Sleep. Another good one is Cowl, which means when you cast Cowl, there's no resistance to it, and it does the same thing as a Cowl result on the negotiation table, meaning that the creature will let you pass, and it will also give you money, and that's kind of cool. Fair Fight, if the number of monsters is greater than the number of characters, eliminate monsters until the numbers are equal. That's a great spell too. Hesitate when this is cast. The party may cast heal spells and use healing potions immediately before entering combat. That's a good thing. Ceasefire, this has the same effect as agreement on a negotiation table. It can be used after combat, so that's cool. It's the only thing that can stop a combat. That's once it's in progress. And Friends has the same result as a Cow on the negotiation table, except the monsters hand over half their money and any magic items they may have. That's kind of cool. There are some monsters you can use as player characters in the expansion. The first is Kronks, who start with 6 wound points and a resistance of 1. They don't wield weapons, but you roll a d6 when you roll up the Kronk, and whatever that result is the bonus you get on the monster column. The next one are Ogres, Goblins, and Orcs, which are just treated as normal heroes. Troll is an interesting one. Begins with 8 wound points and may fight either with weapons or barehanded on the monster column. Their magic resistance is 2. After they've gained 4 points of ability, they get the special troll regeneration, which is awesome. However, they're very dumb, so instead of 75 experience points and 100 gold, they need 100 experience and 100 gold in order to level up. Vampires, those begin the game with 6 wound points and a magic resistance of 2. They can fight either with a weapon or on the monster table. They have +3 weapon skill because of their strength, and they also have charm, which is cool. Here's werewolf. Looks like the light here is reflecting on the paper. Let me see if I can make it easier to read. They begin the game as a normal hero, but with 10 wound points. However, when engaged in combat, a die roll is made, and on a roll of 1 through 3 becomes a werewolf, keeping his wound point total, but using all the combat values of a werewolf. Then he goes to an open space on the first rank and fights during the combat phase. During the next reorganization phase, another die roll is made and the character reverts to human form and rejoins the party on a roll of 1 or 2. There's no limit to the amount of times you can go back and forth. Next part of the expansion is the charts and tables. One new thing is there's different levels in the dungeon now, well, optionally at least. And the way you have the different levels is you can either start the dungeon at a higher level, or every time you open up a trap door, it leads to a lower level in the dungeon. And there's a little table here, and depending on the level of the dungeon, it modifies the monster's hit points, its combat values, the number of monsters, treasure types, and experience points. So it makes the game a little bit harder, which is kind of cool. And there's other charts and tables. There's an advanced fountain table. Adds a lot of new effects like mist and alligator pull. Alligator pull, and actual alligator can attack you if I recall correctly. Midas waters. The mist has its own mist table. The Midas waters turn the adventurer testing the fountain pool into a solid gold, and now he's worth 20 Byzants. For every hit point he had. A Stone the Flesh spell will revive him and turn him back into a normal person, but it has to be done right away. There is a new Adventurer's Statue table, which does most of the same stuff as the Fountain table. It's kind of cool, except for it's got Medusa's face. You have to make a resistance roll or turn to stone. That's kind of cool. And there's an advanced trapdoor table, too. And there's a new bribery table. So that's kind of cool. You can you have the option of bribing monsters now. So as you can see, this is kind of a neat little expansion. It's only a few pages long, and all you got to do is pay $5 on eBay for a copy of Moves magazine, and a few dollars for shipping, and you have it. So I recommend trying it out. I think it'll add a little bit of fun to your game. Thanks for watching.